Welcome everyone. So this is the third session for prospect to cash scenario, and in today's session we would be creating some scenario like using prospect to cash template for C account to customer, C contact to contact of Finops. Normally it's CDS contact as a staging table, then Finops item to C product. So these three template only we will use, and we will schedule it to run it and show the data transactions. We will be creating a new project with the connection set we already created. Before going to the project, we will first open our connection set and we will go to the integration key. So integration key are where you tell the system which field is the key or index of a particular entity. Let's suppose we have ABC as account, right, and its account number is 123. So when the transaction happens, it goes into Finops, it searches for account number 123. Is it there in the Finops or not? If it is not there, it will create a new account. If it is there, then it will update. So that's how this integration key works. So we can set up the integration key for account. We already have account number, then contact. We already have it mapped. So remember this MS, TY and CE. This is a contact ID field created by prospect to cash solution itself. So this is out of the box field imported through project to prospect solution. Then we have currency, then we need product. We have product ID as our integration key, then price list as name. See, we have all the required integration key with us. We can go back and create a new project. Caps and small letters to make it more logical. We will select the connection set. We will choose a template. A template by prospect to cash. The template would be customer to customer V2. Right. So these are the entity mentioned. Sorry, not this one. It would be account to customer. This is the sales to Finops template, where sales account entity would be used and Finops customer entity would be used. Clicking OK, selecting the organization, and done. So we have our project ready. Same way, we will create it for account or contact. And see contact to Finops. Okay, or like CS, we will use the then we have Prerequisites and now after this, I will return it Finops. I come to see what. So this I will be finding data from CM using credit to separate and can have okay, I just have this one. So after the stage of Finops, I will return to we will use this as for the CM. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, templates projects are ready. You can open account to customer first and see the mapping. Are we getting all the fields as we need, or are we getting any error or not? So normally we don't get any error, but sometimes what happens, some customization have been done on top of Finops and the data entity has been you can say customized, and few fields might have been removed from there. So we might not, that might not be visible here. Let me go to Finops and show you what I mean by data entity. So as you can see, I have opened the CDS contact here, right? And these are the fields which is available in this data entity, and same field would be available on to our data integration. If any field missing here, would be missing here also. So yeah, and another thing to, you can say, check from the integration perspective would be mapping visualization. Sometimes what happens is, on the right side and left side we have staging, on right side we have target. Sometimes our staging and target entity misses some mapping. Like you can see, it says here are not mapped with the target entity. Whenever we face these kind of issues, right, we need to come back here and click on generate mapping. So what does this do? This refreshes the mapping And now if we go to the visualization, you will find all our three entities of fields of staging would be mapped with the target table. This is a quick way to find that there might be some disconnection between staging and target entity or field. Let's suppose you want to see some fields which are not available, but you already deployed it from dev to UAT. Next troubleshooting you can do is you can go to data management, come on to the framework parameter, click on entity setting and refresh the entity list. This will refresh the list and come again onto the mapping your project and refresh the entity from here also once the entity is refreshed here. So this will bring up all the refresh the metadata and bring up all the new fields which were recently generated. So we would be using all the necessary or all the by default mapping right now. Another thing to look at are the functions. You can see there is no customer group onto our CRM site, that is source, but on the destination we have the mandatory field or the required field as customer group. And if we see the function, there would be a default value we are passing, right? There are several options available here. If I delete this and click at transformation, you will find default transcat value mapping. Country region is a default region code mapping. Value mapping means add a mapping. You say this specifier, let's suppose from the source we are getting a value ABC, but in Finops you know that this value shouldn't be going as ABC, it should be going as 1 to 3. So these kind of mapping you can do it here, saying that whenever ABC value comes from CRM, it should be manipulating that data into 1 to 3, and in transaction when it reaches the Finops, the value would be going as 1 to 3, right? Now these are the only option available for transformation right now in from the function perspective. If I click default, again it will set as 10 and we will save it. So this was about function. In last session we already discussed about the data type. You can see a string is always paired with a string. This is numeric. This might be option set, because option set doesn't bring up the label, it brings up the value. So value is mapped with the numeric value. Same way there would be GUIDs, right? And GUID would be mapped as from the GUID itself. Let's suppose if I want to add a new mapping here and I want to bring up some custom fields. You can see I have some custom fields, right? Once I refresh the entity and it will bring up the custom fields here. If you have any question regarding how you are not getting any custom fields onto your data integration, you can ask us on our emails. Then we have advanced query. Let me enable the advanced query. Remember, once you enable the advanced query, you can't disable it, and this is from where you can enable the advanced query. Now if we go here, you will find a third option, that would be advanced query and filtering. This is quite interesting thing to manipulate your data using a default column. You will find all the columns which were present in your source, right? Those would be available here in this table. So let's the table load. Now the table is generated, right? You will find all these as a field onto our source column. And the third thing would be the condition, right? You want that account is here, right? It's right now what's happening, all the accounts created in CRM would be synced to Finops. There wouldn't be any condition right now. Either it's active or it has some other condition or other statuses, right? But let's suppose you want a condition, then whenever my account is as approved, then only it should sync, otherwise it shouldn't, right? So you will find a filter option here. Right now it's not there because you have to enable it for your tenant by raising a ticket to Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't enable it by default. I know this because I was facing the same issue. I was using advanced query, and I was in assumption that if I add a condition here in the OData query, then I would be getting the exact data which I need, and same would be synced between the systems. But that was not the case. So I raised the ticket to Microsoft, and they explained it that this need to be enabled for you, and they enabled, and I started getting a filter option here. So I have logged into my customer account, and you can see for this particular tenant we have asked Microsoft to enable the filtering. And if you see, this icon is available here, and if I go to my tenant which is on trial and open any of my if I open any of my tasks, I wouldn't be seeing this filtering option here, right? Sorry. And if I go here, I can use the same logic as we used to do in our OData. Like here I says, if my sync status is equal to this, then only it should sync, right? So this way we can enable the filtering also. So now we have all three projects ready with us. So we can create some record in our CRM and see if it is reaching our Finops or not. So we are not scheduling